That's right. Excited about the win for our guys, especially the 9 guys that finished what they started. Committed to LSU and wanted to finish it, and that's why I wanted the ball in Josh Williams' hand on that goal line play. Nobody's been more trustworthy and accountable there every day for us, and that kind of epitomized what he has been about for us, and that kind of put the game away for us late. It was a little bit of everything today. There were some really good things on special teams, and then some not so good things, but it's been really fun to coach this team. I know cynics would say it was disappointing. It wasn't disappointing. It was a team that was less than perfect because of inexperience, a team that gained experience. We still played with 6 true freshmen and a redshirt freshman most of the time on defense, and they kept battling. So, to win 9 games and win three in a row at the end, I'm just happy for our football team. And again, the 9 guys that came back and finished what they started. And I'm 100% behind the guys that didn't play. For whatever the reasons are, they're valid. But the 9 that were here, I want to be able to trumpet them as well, because finishing what you start is important as well. So happy with the victory.
If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Scooter.
Was it just me, or was that a strange, weird game?
I just think that there were, you're talking about a bowl game where a lot of different things can happen because of, the preparation and the layoff. You had, special teams gaffes, and then you had some spectacular plays on special teams. You had some great one-on-one matchups. I mean, there were some spectacular catches by Baylor and by LSU. You saw a true freshman in Trey'Dez Green, who, in many ways, how do you put it in perspective that he made you forget about Mason Taylor, who is an incredible player because of the plays he made on 4th down and 3rd down. We didn't give up a sack today. Without a first-round draft pick, a first-day draft pick, a starting 3-year starter, that's pretty incredible. So yeah, there were some bizarre things, but the big picture is pretty bright in terms of what happened today.
When you're on the sideline for a game like that, do you sometimes just like, okay, that's the way it's going to be today, go with it?
Yeah, we kind of went with the flow, but that's what this group has been about all year. I mean, when they're in a valley, they know they're going to come out of it. And so if a bad play happens, they look to come back. Look, I think there were several of those occasions today, and they just kept fighting.
Sort of offensive as a whole, like you said, the offensive line stepping up, Trey'Dez and several others, Chris Hilton. Why do you think the offense was maybe able to be so successful today, despite having to kind of fill in some pieces in a fairly short period of time?
Well, I think Tyree Adams, was really solid at left tackle. I think Miles Frazier at the right tackle. Our edges were really good. DJ, at center has been there all year. So we had, we really had some good pieces there, and I think we were able to do a great job of getting the ball down the field. And once we were able to hit some big plays down the field, it opened up a lot of things. But I will go back to what I said earlier. I think the presence of Trades Green at the tight end position gave, again, Garrett Nussmeier the opportunity to convert some key third and fourth down situations, which he's had all year with Mason Taylor. And that was really the biggest thing for us, is would he have that guy available for him? And we saw that he did again. Just the deflection that he got that came up short on fourth down shows you the kind of athletic ability he has. So you'd really had some young players step up in those situations, which is what we really thought was going to happen, but you never know until they go out and play.
Justin.
Two parts here in the back. You talked about a little bit Trades stepping in for Mason Taylor. Those are huge shoes to fill, but he kind of did it seamlessly. How was he able to be as good as he was today? And also, Chris Hilton, what did you see from him?
Well, Trades is an incredible competitor. The work he put in the bowl prep was second to none. His mindset, his want to go in there and mix it up and run block. As you saw, we didn't treat him like a wide receiver. We treated him like an attached tight end. I mean, he lined up in the core. He lined up in the slot. And I said this to you folks, we weren't going to treat him differently. We were going to treat him like it was Mason running that position. And he had to get sandpapered a little bit in practice. I mean, he went home a couple of times, and I'm not sure that he made it past 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. He was sore, but that was just what his commitment was, and pretty proud of him. And Chris, has been waiting for these opportunities, and he got his chance and was able to do the things that he's capable of doing. I think the other thing was, the run after the catch, when he ran the inside stop route, and we saw a burst from him that, was electric. So big things for him to come.
Bryce? Coach, kind of a two-parter. One, is there any update on Whit Weeks and the initial update? And then just kind of the second part of that, can you speak to the response of your team to come off the sideline and what that just shows and how much they care about him and what he means?
Yeah, it looks like the early indication is a dislocation of the ankle. Probably will have surgery here, quickly. I don't want to give an exact timeline, but should have him, ready to go, sometime around spring ball. So, obviously, we feel for him, and certainly. He's a tough kid that will handle this the right way, but we'll act quickly on it. His family was with him, but again, I think that our team responded appropriately because he's such an important part of what we do.
Have you seen that before, just that the whole team come off the sideline to greet a player like that before they carted them on?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been times where, the heartbeat of your team, and in particular the defense, that I don't know that they knew the nature of the injury, so I think that they were very guarded about what it might have been. And I actually told the team before we went back out, what the nature of the injury was, just so we didn't have any lingering effects going into the second half, so that they could play, and get back to what was most important, and that was finishing off the game. I can hear you.
I need everyone else to hear me. I know obviously the roster is going to go through a number of changes before you guys play another football game, but what did
I hope not. I think we're in pretty good shape.
Tonight's game and the performance from some of the guys, what did it show the staff? What do you feel like you have that maybe you didn't feel like you had before tonight?
Well, I think we've already talked about some of them, right? We talked about Trades Green, how good you feel about that with, a veteran player also coming in from the portal at that position. You feel really good there, right? Some of the guys that got pressed into starting roles, Tyree Adams, at the left tackle position, that really bolsters what you're thinking about, from an offensive perspective. Defensively, playing all those freshmen whether it was Tylen Singleton or, Deshaun Spears or Javian Toviano. PJ played a lot, at the corner position when Zy didn't play in the third or fourth quarter. So there's just so many guys now that have experience playing, and now add, some additions that have veteran experience, and that's really why we wanted to wait and give these guys some experience and now add them to the mix. And now you have a healthy roster. You have depth on your football team going into the SEC.
Coach, your defense was kind of bend but don't break. It gave up a lot of yards, over 500, but when it mattered the most, they stepped up. They were 1 of 6, I think, on fourth down conversions, and 2 of those came in the red zone. Just talk a little bit about their ability to be able to step up and get those turnover on downs when you needed them the most.
Yeah, I just think that, from a defensive perspective, when we needed, a play to be made, we forced Baylor into making a play other than a one-on-one inside slot fade or one-on-one 50-50 ball. And look, they played very well. Their offense is very difficult to defend because they have a very accurate quarterback and they do a great job of pushing the ball outside. I thought when we did a really good job late in the game in the third and fourth quarter of eliminating the run game, they were up against it because the passing game then became one where we could play a lot more quarter coverage and get off playing man coverage. That made it hard. When the field began to shrink, our safeties could be flat foot and really squeeze those routes down. And that kind of was the difference with that bend but don't break. It was hard for them to put the ball into the end zone because of that.
John?
Hey, Coach, in the back.
Yeah.
Just kind of zooming out a little bit, you've done some great things in the transfer portal. A lot of young guys play today because of the opt-outs and opportunities and whatnot. What does a win like this in a bowl game do for you as you continue to build for next year and what you guys hope, I suppose, is winning a championship?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Like, the captains today reflected that, right? So it was, Greg Penn and Josh Williams. They were 2 of the captains that reflect the leadership in 2024. And then Garrett Nussmeier and Whit Weeks were 2 of the captains. So it was about, finishing 24 and starting 25. So today really was about the first game of 25. And what we were talking about was, but we want to lean on our veterans to help us get there. And so what was it? What did it mean? It means that we got off to a good start in 25. As you know, we haven't gotten off to a very good start the past 3 years. And so I wanted our guys to feel like this is the start we wanted. Let's build on this start in 25.
Tom, 2 more, Jack, and then Wilson.
There were a few special teams issues today. Was that more just new guys filling different roles, or was it things that are easily fixable in the future as well?
Are you talking about the kickoff return for a touchdown? I'm being a wise ass. No, we had a poor snap on a field goal that rolled back, which we have a veteran guy and he feels terrible about it. It was just a bad snap in that situation, but we had a breakdown on the right side where they were able to penetrate the C gap between our right guard and right tackle. We had 2 new guys in there, and they didn't execute at the highest level. But the snap needs to be better, and he knows that. That was an issue. Clearly they had the punt return for a touchdown, but there was a hold on it, and there was a personal foul on the punter. So, that's a wash. From my perspective. I thought, the thing that, clearly. We have to be better at punting the football. And that has been, an issue. And we addressed it in the portal. There'll be competition there. But overall, we were electric in the kickoff return game and the punt return game. We have to be better. I think Damian Ramos has been outstanding all year, and I certainly don't put that one on him in terms of the block.
Wilson, you got the last one.
Well, Barney might be a little bit before we talk to you. So obviously, you've said there's maybe still a little bit of work.
Really?
Oh,
my
you
God.
probably.
I'll send you guys cards.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With that in mind, obviously there's still, like you said, a little bit more that y'all want to do in the transfer portal. But I guess if you were just to kind of go through your checklist here coming up, what else is there? Any staff evaluations that you feel you need to make? Obviously, there's a hire coming up, but tight ends coach, where are you with that?
Yeah, I think. Look, at the end of the season, we're doing a. What do we do well as a staff? What do we need to do better? And certainly what do we learn, right? We have to do some things better. There's no question. And that's part of this process every year. Whether you're a football program or whether you're a Fortune 500 company, you're gonna evaluate everything within your program. How we travel, how we recruit, how we coach, how we develop our players. All of those things over the next, 4 to 6 weeks will be evaluated. And look, this is a championship program. This is about winning championships, and we fell short of that. So we have to evaluate all of those things, and it starts with me and how I led, and it goes through and permeates the entire program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've been going about South a lot.